thank you, and thank you very much for everyone for being here today. Just a sound check. Can people hear me in Pretoria and Durban?
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
Yes, we can.
Super. Well, thank you again for being here. And for those of you that have been involved in the study or known about the study when it started in May, you'll notice that the title has changed. So the original intent of the study is still there. However, we've been very closely monitoring and listening to feedback that we've been receiving over the past several months regarding different elements of the study. So you'll see some of those changes reflected today. One of the most major changes being a change in the title. The original title of this study was called Professionalizing Evaluation in South Africa. The word professionalizing brought out a lot of discussion, and even entering into discussion about this so early in the process caused, to say nicely, a little bit of concern from some stakeholders. So one of the big changes we've made is the title, and you see that here. How should South Africa strengthen evaluation and evaluators? So very soon you'll see that title in front of you. Awesome, there it is. This is our new title. It's a new working title. Still welcoming feedback on it. And today we're looking at experiences and perspectives from South Africa. The study, just very quickly, to note that this is, for those of you who work in universities, this is not a grant or bursary. The study is managed by DPME and SAMEA, and it's funded by DFID. Thank you, DFID. It includes a general literature review. The lit review was completed several months ago and is available on the SAMEA website. A comparator lit review, which included a semi-structured interviews with 10 countries. That's the comparator report, which is also available for review. And currently, we are finalizing the situational analysis review, which included both a lit review and semi-structured interviews. We had been commissioned to do 30 interviews for this. We're currently up to 60 and still growing, but we're definitely stopping those interviews as of Monday. The interviews have been fascinating. What has also been added to the study since we initially agreed to move forward with this are 4 open forums, this evaluation cafe, and what has also been added is an electronic survey to those members of the SAMEA listserv. If you're listening today and you're not a member of SAMEA, please consider joining. This is an exploratory study, and the study aims to inform a roadmap that provides a way forward to professionalizing, and you'll notice, if you can see, that's in quotes, evaluation in South Africa. We'll talk a little bit more about what that means on the coming slides. And the last statement on that slide, or not. This is a very incredibly brief one-slide South African history in a nutshell of why we are in the situation that we are today with regards to evaluation and evaluators. As many of you know, there was a shift in government which brought about many changes, some of which included institutional oversight in the Constitution, the need for government to demonstrate the benefits of its policies and their implementation to its citizens. On the flip side, looking at civil society began to face a shift in donor funding and the expectations from that funding. These are 2 of the reasons, of many, that explain the rapid growth of evaluation and the resulting need for competent evaluators in South Africa. Also to note, though, in our history, which was mentioned in the beginning, is that SAMEA, the South African M&E Association, has engaged to some level with professionalizing and strengthening evaluators in a very explicit way since 2009. There is a range of key stakeholders in South Africa, and we're trying to widen the net to get their perspectives. First of all, we have civil society, and when most people talk about that, they think of SAMEA. But there are some other major civil society actors out there who also would benefit or have a stake in whether or not we professionalize evaluation. Just as an example, SANEC, the South African National AIDS Commission, and their role, their watchdog role, and their active role in doing evaluations in South Africa. And there are many others out there. The government, as we know, donors, all different kinds of donors, academia. There's various institutions out there, Stellenbosch offering a PhD, University of Cape Town with master's degrees, and other universities offering diploma courses and coursework as part of a degree, all related to monitoring and or evaluation. And of course, we can't forget the private sector, consultants and consulting firms, both South African ones and foreign ones as well, who are based here and who work here. And finally, Clear AA, which I was asked to explain. and I hope I get the acronym right, which is Center for Learning, Evaluation, and Results in Anglophone Africa, which is based at Wits University, and the many science research councils of which we're partnering with today. There are two facts that, well, there's lots of facts, but there's two facts that particularly influence why we're even having this discussion. First, evaluation has developed as a field of practice, rather than as a traditional academic discipline. We're not psychology, we're not medical degrees, we're not accountants, right? Most people come to evaluation from a variety of different fields. Also, evaluation professionals have this mixed history, not only of educational, but also experiential backgrounds. So when we talk about what is a competent evaluator, or what you need to be a competent evaluator, we all have very different understandings. Early on, one of our key stakeholders said to me, you know, here in South Africa, we always think we're unique. We're not that unique. And what was very interesting is as the research continued, people would oftentimes start their conversation with me and say, you know, in South Africa, we're different because X, Y, Z. And as I widened and the studies broadened to look at what's happening around the world, we started finding a lot of similarities with what's happening. I think we're special in South Africa, but we're not as unique in this particular instance. For example, if you look at the first three types of associations, first one's covered there, but it's ideas, the International Development Evaluators Association, the Germans, UNAIDS, they've all developed and pushed forward with some type of competency list, and there's others, UNEG, lots of organizations around the world are doing this. If you look at those that are in white, you can see ones that have moved the process even further. The European Evaluation Association and the British Association, the UK Association, right now they're in the process of testing something they call VEPR, which is a voluntary evaluator peer review. It's not about having the designation, right? It's about passing a test or getting a credential. It's about personal development. The Canadians, as many of you know, they have something called credentialing, or they're calling credifying. And there, basically what they do is they have somebody review a portfolio of their work and decide whether or not they are a credentialed evaluator or not, combined with giving them a pathway of how to become one. And the Japanese evaluation have certificate in education where they take a test. And there's many more examples. So there's no cookie cutter way or agreed upon way to professionalize, even around the world. If you look at some of the other countries, like the New Zealand Association, the Russian Evaluation Association, and the American Evaluation Association, we're all sort of sitting at that same place in the river and going through these processes at the same time. We have a lot to learn from each other. In New Zealand, they've already developed competencies, but now they're talking about how to move that forward, so they're slightly ahead of us. The Russian Evaluation Association have been asked by the government to develop standards and criteria for what it means to be an evaluator. So there are pushes coming from the government, although the association is extremely active in taking control of that. And then the American Evaluation Association is in the exact same place as we are. We're still talking about what is professionalizing, what is credentialing, what's happening. So we're not alone. Some people are ahead of us, some people are behind, and some people are right with us. Basically what I'm saying, there's a train that's moving out there, and it's going to pass us right by if we don't get on it.
And does this relate to CRASA?
Okay, thank you. I was very excited about that slide. Okay, so what do we mean by professionalization? If you go back to the literature review, there's lots of definitions out there. We can take a cookie cutter one for sure. But what I was more interested in this research was understanding South Africans, or those who practice evaluation in South Africa, their understanding of what we're talking about. And it's early in the data, but what we're seeing are these four different themes. Some people are talking about credentialing or some type of designation. So there's criteria, you meet it or you don't meet it, you're a designated evaluator, you're a certified evaluator, you're a credentialed evaluator. Some people are looking at it like that. Some people are talking more about how I explain the VEPR system, a peer review, a mentorship program. Let's get everybody up to speed and not exclude anyone. The third way people are talking about professionalization is people are saying, look, I just need a clear path. You just need to tell me what I need to do so I can become an evaluator, right? And the last one is people are saying, look, I think we're already on that train, right? We have SAMEA, the South African M&E Association. We have academic courses that are out there. We have a journal, an African journal, that is out there. So a lot of people already think we're on this road, right? So what are some of the challenges we're facing? Why are we even talking about this? And this is where the data seems to be ending up. I wouldn't say all, but most people are saying we do not have a large pool of competent evaluators, and there's a lot of evaluation work out there. There's a strong indication of poor quality evaluations, and when I prompt people on that, what do you mean by a poor evaluation? People are saying, look, either we can't use it, or there's no research approach in there. Some people are saying there's no evaluation methodology, there's no explicit way of how people are valuing their findings. So there's some very technical reasons people are saying evaluations aren't strong, and some people are just saying, look, we can't use them. We get them back, we can't use them. Okay. It's not clear where that problem is coming from. Is that the terms of reference? Is that the commissioner? Is it the evaluator? Is it the budget? So we're still exploring that, and just remember that doesn't necessarily go on the weight of the evaluator's shoulders. Here's where we start to look at similar things happening around the world. An Eval Partners survey of evaluators from around the world noted a general feeling that there needs to be improvements in professional standards. And here I'm quoting from Jim Rue, who's quoting from Eval Partners. The biggest concerns were that because evaluation standards are not well defined, and because demand for evaluation is increasing, anyone can call themselves an evaluator. And that resonates strongly with our findings here. So who identifies as an evaluator? And we also, my team and I found this very interesting. This is emerging data, but some academics that teach program evaluation identify as evaluators, but not all of them. Consultants that mainly conduct evaluations identify as evaluators, but not all of them. A few program managers and NGOs, but not most, and some SAMEA members, but not all that we've interviewed, identify primarily as an evaluator. This and other questions similar to this are going to be further explored in that survey that will be going out in the next couple of weeks. So why do people want some form of professionalization, no matter how they define it? And again, we're looking at 4 different themes that are coming through. Emerging or potential evaluators, again, they want a clear pathway. People that are already practicing, they want to know how to improve what they're doing already. Commissioners of evaluation want to understand better who to hire and what they should expect. And experienced evaluators, which we have criteria for, and you can see in the research documents, they're saying that, look, raising the bar and setting higher standards is going to bring credibility to what we do and to us as a profession. A clear understanding of who is and who is not an evaluator is important. But ultimately, what are we trying to do here? Essentially, it seems that most people agree we want a large pool of quality evaluators. That's why we're going through this process. But then you have to start looking at something. In the immediate future, do we want more evaluators? Or in the immediate future, do we want a smaller pool of quality evaluators that eventually grows? We started looking, and this comes, thank you to Kate McKagan and a World Bank blog, we took some criteria of what it means to be professionalizing. There are several sets out there, and in the reports we'll use other ones as well. But for the presentation today, we've chosen these 6 characteristics or criteria of being a profession. The first one was, is there a specialized and unique body of knowledge, theory, and skills? And there's a definition under there. Look, to some level, in South Africa, this is happening. If you look back 10 years ago, we didn't have courses in M&E, academic programs, a PhD in evaluation. We have that now. So we seem to be on that path, and it seems to be moving forward quite quickly. The second bullet, a profession is also distinguished by having an ethical disposition. Look, in South Africa, well, in evaluation, that's inherently there, right? Evaluation, right? We all get that. That's in there. But in South Africa, it's not explicit. When you sign up to become a member of SAMEA, you don't even tick a box that says, I promise to be ethical, right? So we're not there yet, right? Third, a profession also has a high status credential. Now, here we don't have clear data. Should an evaluator at least have a graduate degree from an accredited tertiary educational organization or some kind of professional designation? Should we aim for this? Should we aim for that? And the last 3, a profession has professional autonomy, okay? Not the case in South Africa. We are not responsible for recruiting, training, admitting, credentialing, and so on. Those in a profession, the second to last bullet, those in a profession should also demonstrate a loyalty to the occupational group. I can tell you, based on these interviews and from the irate emails and passionate emails that have come to me, This is happening, it's here. People who identify as evaluators are very loyal to this group. And the last one, a profession has a relatively high degree of prestige and status. Again, to some degree, the data are showing we're moving toward this, right? There is a demand for these kinds of services here in South Africa. We do get paid for it mostly, and it is beginning to be recognized from the very top levels down, right? So we're on this path. So here are some more of the emergent findings that we thought were interesting to present today, and we presented some of them already. There's a diversity of the evaluation community in South Africa that makes it very hard to identify and get people involved in the study. We have emerging evaluators, we have people practicing for more than 10 years, we have people in government, nonprofit organizations, we're all over the place. And within those groups, there's a tremendous amount of diversity. All of these different groups and different people tend to have different expectations of this process, right? So we're sort of being pulled apart. And here I think we're facing a large dilemma. On the one side, we need to be very conscious about power dynamics. Who has the power to decide who is and who is not, and how to become an evaluator? We need to be aware of and address factors that present barriers to the field of evaluation. We should not limit entry into the field. We need to consider the history of South Africa in a larger context. Now, at the same time, poor quality evaluations equal poor quality evidence. There is a strong need for generating credible evidence to understand which social development programs work and which do not, and how to improve them. Substandard evaluations and evaluators will not deliver this evidence. And there's our dilemma. Thank you very much.